Hello, everyone. Welcome to Session 4 of the ASAN podcast. Tonight, I am going to be joined by Zambi Crackers, gupasmegerg, and Spartan Mellow. 5church will be with us as always. Hello, hello. Let me go ahead and undeafen it, and we'll go ahead and get started with these guys. Hello, how's everyone doing?
Hey, pretty good.
Doing great, yeah.
Well, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you guys for being here. Zambi, I believe that you have actually been asked to tell us a little bit about what ASAN is about, so could you do that for us, please?
I have indeed. Let me pull it up so I get it right. So, ASAN, the organization known as the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, seeks to advance the principles of disability rights movement with regard to autism. They believe the goal of advocacy should be a world where autistic people enjoy equal access, rights, and opportunities. They work to empower autistic people all over the world to take control of their own lives and the future of their community. And they seek to organize to ensure their voices are heard in the conversation about them. And their motto, fittingly, is nothing about us without us. Their members and supporters include autistic adults, youth, cross-disability advocates, non-autistic family members, professionals, educators, and now us, with this super cool fundraiser we're about to do.
Right on. So, I know that you all were involved in the event last year, but some people in chat might not know a little bit about you guys since it is a much bigger group than it was last year. So, could you all tell us a little bit about your channel and the type of games that you play? Just a little bit about you. Goop, we'll start with you.
Oh, sure. What a ludicrous question as well. So, I do a little bit of everything, and I mean that really seriously. I do play a lot of games, and I think that a lot of people from last year pigeonholed me. They thought that maybe I was just a music streamer, but I do play games really poorly. I've played through like all of the Dark Souls games and died countless times. That's not true. I've counted how many times I've died, and it's in the thousands. But I'll play Nintendo games. I'll play indie games, pretty much anything. But I do also do music streams where I will play guitar and sing poorly and have a really good time. It's kind of like a Twitch.tv campfire.
I love it. Spartan, what about you? Tell me about the type of games you like to play.
Yeah, for the most part, kind of like Goop, I play a variety of games, except I typically choose ones that are intentionally very too hard for myself. So
Fair.
a game that I really ended up getting big off of was Celeste. Specifically, I died just under 8,000 times in my playthrough that I did on stream.
Wow.
So like Goop did end up counting it. So like that type of game, that kind of an aspect where it's something which takes a lot of, trial and error. Also have done stuff like challenge runs with Zelda Breath of the Wild and trying to find fun or new ways to make a game even more fun and building upon what it already was.
What type of challenge run did you do in Breath of the Wild?
I did a run where I didn't wear any clothes, and
Ooh.
Link didn't either.
Naked
Ooh, whoa.
Link stream? Okay. I bet that was actually pretty hard because you didn't have
My terms of
any
service.
armor.
Definitely.
Well, Zambi, tell us about your channel and the type of stuff that you do over there.
Yeah, good wording, because I'm not actually a gamer. I am primarily an artist. I think I made almost everything you're seeing on the screen right now.
That sounds correct, including the new Capybara
Except for that
award.
lovely video that the team put together. I just realized there's a stick of butter behind us.
There
Oh,
is.
no.
Butters is always
You've
watching.
got the butter seat. But yeah, I do a lot of gimmicky art streams. Like I'll take somebody suggest magic cards I haven't seen before. That's actually what I'm doing this time. I've done it before and it was a huge hit. So suggest a magic card or a Pokemon that I haven't seen before because I'm not great with culture, and I'll try to draw it from memory and see how close I get. Or maybe chat has to choose the brushes and colors that I use. And you can kind of turn art into a fun community event.
Absolutely.
I'll once
you
in a while
can.
dabble in gaming, but that's my primary.
Well, I know that you all were involved last year. So when were you guys asked to be a part of it for this year, and what do you guys have planned? Goop, could you tell us what you might be doing?
Oh, I looked up when 5church originally asked me to do this, and it was March 2nd, 2022. And then when we finished last year's charity stream, I think pretty much immediately he asked me to sign back on. So
Right on.
so I've been in it the whole time this time through. This year I'm doing the same thing that I did last year. I'll be doing a music stream, and it's essentially whoever's the most generous gets to pick what I play. I'll be playing guitar and singing, and essentially, like, if you donate $5 and that's the most somebody's donated, you get the top spot. You get to pick the next song. If somebody's donated 10, you're number 2 on the list. Like, you know how numbers work.
How many songs did you play last year? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't know how many. Last year I had a 2-hour block though, and we got through quite a bit. I was kind of surprised, especially with like all of the like giveaways and kind of side things going on. I expected that we wouldn't get through that much music, but we really did get through a lot. Yeah, and this year I have an hour longer. I was 2 hours last year. This year I'll have 3 hours to ruin your ears. So look forward to that.
How many songs can you play? Like, do you have like a book or anything for people to like see what you can play on stream, or?
Yeah, I have a song list that I can link into your chat if I'm allowed to post links.
If you can send it to us in the Discord, we can make sure to post that for you.
Yeah, it's got more than 100 songs on it, and it's definitely not extensive. So I always tell people, like, if you have a song that you would like to see, I can, like, you can post it in the chat, and like if I know it, I'll give it a try, and if not, I won't.
Right on. Well, while you're getting us that list, I'm gonna ask Spartan, what is it that you have planned for your segment this year, and when were you approached? Because I know you're also one of the ones from last year.
Yeah, to be honest, it's got to be probably a similar timeline to what Goop had said. So getting asked around March, and also right after the event last year, kind of just a bit of affirmation from 5church that they wanted us back, and which is really good to feel that. But this year, so last year I tried to do just kind of as much of Celeste as possible, and didn't really have an initial goal in mind. But for this year, what I'll be doing is taking another game that I recently actually got into a number of months back, which is Hades. So actually,
okay.
super pumped for Hades 2 to come out and to practice a bit for it, since it's been a little bit since I've gotten deep into it. I'm going to be starting a new save file and attempting to get my way out of heck, if I can say that,
sure.
within the 3 hours, which is going to be a major challenge.
That is going to be hard, yes.
I don't know if I'm going to do it, but it's at least going to be interesting to watch, is what I'll say.
All right, now I gotta ask, because I'm a big fan of Hades. I started playing it earlier this year, and I've beaten Hades 4 times. What's your favorite weapon to use?
Okay, so it goes back and forth because I have like an aspect on each one of them that I love. But if I had to choose one, it would actually probably be kind of the base sword with aspect of Zagreus.
There you go.
Pair that with especially Hermes. His feather, so you're getting additional speed, you're getting additional dodge chance.
Yep.
You can kind of just sometimes sit in the middle and take what should be big hits, and they just don't hit you, and it's very fun to dash around and be a little too hard to hit boy.
That is how I finally beat the dreaded Bone Hydra. I was stuck on that for so long. So once you said the feather, I immediately knew. I was like, yep, that's the exact setup I used too. And I went all the way to Hades and had about a quarter of his health left on the second stage and died. And then we ran it again and we won. So
very nice.
Well, Zambi, when were you approached by 5church for all of this ASAN stuff? Going back as far as last year, if you can remember. And what do you have planned? Is it going to be something similar, or are you going to do some new stuff with art?
I gotta say, y'all reminded me I need to play Hades, but I've been basically the same as them. Like, basically the day after the last event, It was, can you join us again? Can you do art for this event? Are you willing to stream? And I'm like, heck yeah, dude, let's do it. I'm doing something that I have done before, which is drawing Magic the Gathering cards I've never heard of, just because
Ooh.
people really seem to enjoy that, and my lack of knowledge about the cards comes up with some pretty funny stuff. And I can get quite a few done in a couple of hours, so see how that goes.
I would love to see that because I've only just recently gotten into Magic, so I won't know what any of them look like either. So
there's so many there.
I know.
I also have a I think at some point during there, if I get to a certain monetary value of donations, which I will not say yet, I will be temporarily switching to a very famous bullet hell video game for a little bit, and you can watch me suffer.
Are you going to tell us what game?
Not yet.
Okay. All right, you know what? I'll take it. It's a surprise, everyone. So, I always ask this one, and I always get a little bit of a different answer, but you guys are doing this for the second time. So, first time, what made you say yes? And second time, what made you say yes again? So, Goop, we're gonna start with you. What was it about the event that made you just say, yeah, I'm there, I want to do this?
Well, I think 5church is very suave, mostly.
It's true. He's muted right now, but he's probably grinning ear to ear.
I say it as a joke, but it's undeniably true. No, like I said, I was asked a very long time ago, and I'm really just always willing to help. I work for a library professionally, and that means that the thing that I think about all day long is helping people, and not just helping people, but helping them in a way that's dignified and that really serves them. Doesn't just serve what you think they need, but what they actually need. And if all of y'all aren't familiar with like what modern day public libraries are like, you should stop into your public library. That's my little plug for the day.
Absolutely, you should.
But so I felt a lot of connection to this organization through that kind of a mindset of serving people in a way that's actually dignified and helpful for them. And then signing on the second time, 5church has a lot of blackmail about me.
Oh, okay.
And also, I had just a real good time the first time. It was fantastic. I remember my time slot ending and thinking, like, I need to calm down for a little while, and also I wish I had, like, 5 more hours to do that. So
yeah, for sure.
It was great. People come out to support, and it's really, really hypey.
Yeah, absolutely. Spartan, why did you say yes the first time? And then what made you decide you wanted to come back again? Because I always love hearing what people's thoughts are on ASAN.
Yeah. To be honest, the first time when I had heard about it, I was very unsure because I had never heard of ASAN before.
Right.
But my former job was a teacher, and specifically I focused on teaching secondary science. And one of the big aspects with that is always, going away from the old way that people were taught, which is, hey, you have a book, you have vocabulary, you're going to memorize it, you're going to do it. So that's very, the teacher is sitting from on high and giving the lowly people what they need to get through. And that never sat right with me. Instead, what modern science teaching is about, giving people the tools that they need and refining those tools when it comes to critical thinking, as well as always just making sure that people can make those decisions for themselves and really try to be their best because they've honed their tools for themselves. And seeing what ASAN is truly promoting is something that made me really excited to be able to get behind. As for why I came back this year, that is a heck of a question. I haven't been streaming as much, but similar to what Goop said, it was incredible last year. I had a fairly late time slot, but, even with all that, and even the fact that, I've got a bit of rust when it comes to this, there's just this incredibly, welcoming and really just energizing aura that's around, not just the event itself, but also all the amazing people who are working on the back end to make this happen, that it's truly intoxicating and something that I really wanted to be a part of again.
Absolutely. I think that's awesome. I had no idea that you were a teacher.
Yeah. So, well, no longer a teacher anymore, unfortunately, but that's a story for another day.
Still, that's a really interesting thing that I didn't know about you, so that's fun. Zambi,
That's me.
why did you say yes?
So, to echo Goop, it's true, Church is a magnetic personality. Who else could bring, like, this many people together for an event of this size and quality and caliber of streamers? Like, really tremendous stuff. But I remember the very first year when Church and a few others were getting together, and just it was a small group of us at the time, and we're racking our brains like, I want to support autistic people. What charity do I choose? Because there's so many out there, and we don't know enough. And so we did some research. I actually talked to some of my autistic buds, my friends and family, and a lot of them suggested this one because there are other organizations out there that don't quite have the same like autistic people focused narrative. Like it's less about them and more about like we can fix them. This is more about how do we accept them and how do we like work with them to create a society that works for everybody.
I love
I'm
that.
like, that sounds awesome. I think we should do this one. And we ended up doing it. And all my autistic buds were just so pleased, and a whole bunch of them came out to support the stream. I'm like, if I get a chance to do that again, I absolutely will. What a tremendous organization.
I love hearing that everybody has consistently said that has done it last year has been like, if I can do this again, I will. I absolutely love that. It just lets me know that, like you guys were saying, the group is super welcoming and friendly, and everybody like wants to see this succeed, and that means a lot because that definitely translates to all of the events. I still go back and watch the VODs from last year. So I want to ask now, because with everybody's segments, you guys are probably going to have donation goals. Goop, do you have any donation goals you could share with us? Like maybe you'll play left-handed on your guitar or something like that.
That's a good idea, actually. That'd be really tricky. So what I did last year, you'll learn very quickly if you watch my stream, that I really like to introduce chaos,
Absolutely.
where it doesn't belong. Yeah, and if there's already a good amount of chaos, like a bunch of people donating money and being hype and excited and making song requests, I like to add a little bit of chaos on top of that. So last year I did a picker wheel, a randomized wheel spin with all sorts of different things that can happen. One of them was for me to like get a tattoo. So I'm willing to risk it for the biscuit, even if it's low odds on there. I'm planning on bringing that back this year. It'll probably look a little bit different. We're gonna switch up some of the things that are on it. Last year we had like me putting on costumes and applying tattoos to myself and donating my own money to the next streamer, which last year was Zambi and this year will be Spartan. So you might get a little extra cash on your segment there, Spartan. But I've also got like some giveaways baked in there, and maybe some more chaotic things. If y'all have ideas, hit me up. As long as they're not illegal or cost me $1 million, I'm usually willing to try things out.
All right, well, you heard him. $999,000 is the cap.
Well, hey, if it's for a good cause, you know.
Yeah.
And if somebody gives $999,999, I'll for sure just get the tattoo.
I think I'll pass out.
Scout's honor promise. Yeah.
Well, Spartan, just like Goop, do you have any fun donation goals you could share with us for this year?
Yeah, they are still being worked on right now to finalize, but I've got kind of a mix of what Goop has with the picker wheel, as well as a few set donation incentives. So one of the things that I have, some would argue too many of, are jerseys, whether it be hockey jerseys, football jerseys, soccer jerseys, name them all. And so for if somebody donates exactly $11, that'll be a sign that I need to change a jersey. And so people can keep on giving in increments of 11, and I will continue to go through jerseys, and they will be piling up slowly behind me in the background of the stream as I go.
Okay.
I do have one esports jersey, Goop.
Yeah.
But I will also have for every $50 that we hit, there will be a picker wheel that I have that will go as well. And on that are a list of different punishments that I will have to be holden to for 5 minutes while playing the game. Stuff like playing with my controller upside down. Stuff like literally having my roommate Ben play instead of myself. And other things like that that are going to make it incredibly difficult for me to actually get through as much of the game as possible. So once again, those are kind of the two major ones that we're working with here. And as far as what all those punishments are, as I said, still working on them, but also make sure to tune in so you can see exactly what you can inflict upon me.
Absolutely. That all sounds really fun. I wonder how big we can get that pile to be. I'm going to assume it's going to get pretty big. Okay, Zambi, what sort of goals do you think you could share with us? Is it going to be pretty similar to last year with like drawing upside down on the tablet or using your other hand?
Well, I actually have a few of those in there. They make things pretty challenging. I tried that on a personal charity stream where I flipped the tablet upside down or draw with my eyes closed, and it made for some hilarious results. But we're really mixing and matching this year. I've actually got a few tactical art rewards in which in other people's streams occasionally you'll see a free emote done by me that you can win on the little spin wheel, so make sure you hang out as long as you can and try and win one of them. I can't recall which streamers there are, but I know there's at least 3 of them that are gonna have that free emote reward. Other than that, I'm creating a lot of fun little knickknacks and accessories for my little dragon VTuber that you can see here, and with certain amounts of money rewards, I believe every $50, I'm gonna spin my own little wheel or spin my own little dice and add a silly hat or a bow tie or like a cat on my shoulder or a cup of tea until I'm just so bogged down with accessories you can't even see me anymore.
Right on. Okay, so this one is going to be my last question. So audience, if you have any questions for our guests, now will be the time to start asking them. But is there any piece of advice you could give to a viewer who might want to do a charity stream in the future? Goop, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think my advice is pretty simple. It's just do it. I know that sounds a little oversimple, but Twitch has made it pretty easy, and like there's other companies that have made it pretty easy to like set up a stream. So and on top of that, I think that people are pretty willing to share information about charity fundraisers, things like that. So if you're thinking about doing it, do it. And if it's not great the first time, like if it's not the best stream in the world, you still did it for a good cause, and you learned a little something, and you can do it better next time. So
that's right.
Yeah, pull the trigger.
Spartan, what sort of advice could you give to somebody wanting to do a charity stream?
One of the things I'll say, aside from, Goop obviously telling you guys to just get it done, one of the things that I'd highly recommend everyone do is if you are currently employed, so you're not a student or anything like that, but if you have an employer, and you plan on either participating in one of these or even just donating to a charity stream, one thing that a lot of companies have is a matching fund for different causes like this, where if you say, hey, company X, I'm going to go, well, not X, sorry, company Y, I'm going to go and I'm going to hopefully raise, my goal is, even if it's something like just $2,000, would you be able to match that as a donation to this charity? A lot of the times you'll get a yes, or sometimes they'll even make just a donation even if it's not matching, and stuff like that can really end up helping out just everyone involved as well, and not just obviously making the number go bigger is a really positive thing, but also making sure that you're getting additional people in and you're getting that additional hype. And that happens when you see these large donations, and that can only happen if you ask.
Absolutely.
But I will say, to not to get too bad, hey Goop, you got a sec?
Yeah,
so if Zambi's doing emotes and stuff like that, do you think people want our MS Paint emotes? Do you think we can draw that and put that on our wheel?
Yes.
Because let me tell you,
That sounds awesome.
I think we could do that amazingly. Maybe we join this.
Microsoft Paint emotes. Oh, I want to know all about that.
I am an artist.
Well, shoot, I'll be there. I want one.
Spartan has experience. He's a professional at this. He's redone some of his own and some of my emotes as well in Microsoft Paint. So
I love hearing that because that just sounds really interesting to me. So I'm gonna make sure to try.
Sorry to get us off task. But...
No, absolutely not. That's not getting us off task at all. We're having a conversation, man. Like I am very invested now in the Microsoft Paint emotes. I'm gonna want to see those.
Have you seen Jittery's VTuber? It is great.
Yeah, I kind of did that in like 10 minutes.
It's so cool.
Dang, that's awesome.
Yeah. Zambi, you've done a lot of art. You've done a lot of cool stuff behind the scenes for ASAN, so your perspective might be a little different. What sort of advice could you give to somebody wanting to do a charity stream in the future?
Yeah. I actually, thanks to this event, I had the confidence to start doing a yearly charity stream for Trans Lifeline, which helps disadvantaged trans youths in America, and I think Canada as well. And like the best piece of advice that I could give on top of what the other two did was, if you have the confidence to do so, email, reach out, like phone call, whatever you got to do to the organization, and 9 times out of 10 they'll be so pleased to have you. Even if you think you're a small deal and you can't even raise $500, like they'll get back to you. They'll be so excited that you're there. They'll give you advice. They'll give you like a readme on the information that you should be reading and like guidelines and moderation tips and stuff. Like Trans Lifeline did all that for me, and it's really wonderful. And all I was some dinky streamer who raised maybe $600, but they were just happy that somebody was there looking out for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, chat, I believe now is the time for you all to ask anything of these people that you would like to ask. I believe we had one from Stakes. Let me just scroll back up because chat is still going. Since we're going for a much longer time block this time and we can't all stay up for the whole event, how long are you going to try and plan to be up for? What will you do to help keep yourself awake if going for a long time? I can answer this for myself. I'm going to drink a lot of Monster Energy.
Oh, I said from the get-go, like, over 50 hours, we're making church go to bed.
Oh, yeah, no, for
Make
sure.
sure that you do it.
People need to sleep, but I'm going to make sure to try and be up for the majority of the event. I'm going to at least get some sleep, but yeah, make sure that if you are involved in the event, you at least get some sleep, get some rest, stand up, drink some water, stretch, like we're all here for a good cause, but don't sacrifice your own health for the sake of sitting down at the screen and watching the event. You will be able to watch everything again. Anybody else have any fun things that they're going to do to help them stay awake for long periods of time?
Well, I'll say I have to be careful. I'm going to advocate for self-care to everybody here.
Right.
I have a 1-year-old, and I have to be her dad and stuff. So I'm just not going to be there for the entire event.
Right.
But kind of to my earlier point about just do what you can. I'm going to be there for as much of it as I can. And I'm going to try to help support people. And I'm certainly not going to be there the majority of the time, unfortunately, as much as I would like to be. But giving some is better than nothing, and I'm proud of that. So I'm not going to be out here shotgunning Monster Energies like Jittery. Really putting the Jittery and Jittery Jackknape here, but I'll be doing what I can.
He has discovered the secret. I've been doing this for 7 years. No one has ever called me out on it.
That's my secret, Captain. I'm always drinking Monster.
Well, Turnip has a question, and I did say we will take any questions. So, what do you do if you're at someone's house you barely know and you clog their toilet? Please hurry.
Light some toilet paper on fire and jump out the window and run away, never to be seen again. Go now, while you still can have time.
Well,
I say own it. Be proud, power pose a little bit, speak in your most confident voice, and say, "Hey, man, clogged the John. What can I do to help? So sorry about that, but also, I did a great job here."
I was going to say, really projecting that confidence from the first point is he's like, y'all, you will not believe what I just did. But on that note, I need a plunger. What do you got? Own it, be proud, and then offer to help. If you do not offer to help, you are a bad person.
Yeah.
It's your problem now. Bye.
You wanna
told
be
them
so
their
confident.
toilet sucks and couldn't handle art. Oh, that's a fantastic answer.
You gotta be so proud and so confident in it that they'll feel honored to help out.
There are many different artistic mediums. Who am I to judge?
Yeah, exactly.
Here comes the classic question that we answered the other night. If you were a fruit, what fruit would you be and why? I said strawberry because they're sweet. My answer was boring, but I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say.
Oh, I'd for sure be a pineapple.
Okay.
Hey,
Again, confidence. You just got to project it.
There you go. What about you guys? What fruit would you be?
is it too weird to say jackfruit?
No?
I'm big and I'm intimidating and I'm a little more savory than sweet, but once you are able to crack it open, I'm pretty cool, I think.
There you go.
Yeah, you're a
Spartan.
great substitute for pulled pork.
Make tacos.
Well, I'm sure I could come up with a whole bunch of answers that would be very philosophical and make a lot of sense. But if I've learned anything from being online for these past few years, it's that I am objectified for one thing and one thing only. So with that in mind, I think I have to be a peach.
Hey,
Nisk Patter is
Saw
just
that one
in
coming.
all caps.
He's
Peach.
calling it
He's a peach. He's just screaming like Woody in Toy Story. You are a peach. Oh, I love it. All really good answers. Let's see. What was our next question that we had here? This one is from Dova Creations. What is your second favorite video game soundtrack? Movie if you don't do games. Second favorite. Ooh.
Second favorite is hard.
See, my favorite I would probably say is Legend of Zelda.
Which one?
Probably Majora's Mask.
oh, that's a
good
really good
choice.
one.
Interesting.
I love Majora's Mask. It's one of my favorite games.
My top Zelda game for sure.
It's my top Zelda, but it's I said my favorite game the other night was Fallout New Vegas, but I do go all back and forth between those two games every day. I'm like, which one's my favorite? I don't know. They're both so good.
I'm gonna go with Super Mario Galaxy.
That's
I think
a great one.
That game's got some great tracks, and I know for sure what my favorite is. So.
Gusty
but
Garden.
That wasn't the question.
Hey,
Gusty
Goop,
Guardian
what is your
specifically
favorite?
is my favorite track.
Yes! I love that track. When
Pardon,
I
I'm so
heard it,
sorry, we're answering questions from the chat right now.
when I heard it come on at the end of the Mario movie, I about died. I was like, they are not doing this to me right now. I was so
yeah.
happy.
So good.
What about you
Not
guys?
me opening my Steam right now to figure out the answer to this question because, man, this is a hard one.
Yeah, I mean, so for my favorite, I guess I'll get to that later. My second favorite, which feels weird to say, but I honestly feel like it'd be Animal Crossing New Horizons.
That's a great answer.
There is something to say about, obviously something that is just a beautiful score overall, but then also something which is so incredibly fitting of the game itself. And I mean, I can't speak highly enough of how well they really, I think, nailed what should have been a perfect soundtrack, especially for an island getaway and a fun little game with you and your internet friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Zambi,
Figured
do
it
you
out.
know?
I think I'm gonna go with Hollow Knight.
That's a great one.
It's gorgeous. It's thematic. It listening to the soundtrack on YouTube just makes me cry. It's so good.
Okay, this next one's a little bit more serious. 5church is asking, with regards to streaming, how will you push beyond a hate raid? Well, In the event of a hate raid, I like Turnip's answer, but instead, I think I would flip it back on them and just kind of reverse psychology them and kill them with kindness and convince them to donate. Because the higher the viewer count, the better the algorithm for Twitch, more people might check it out. And if we stay positive, they'll either leave or they'll be like, hey, maybe we're the bad guys here, and they'll stop. And if not, then we ban them.
Yeah, I feel that. I think going into the shield mode that Twitch has built in now.
Yep.
That's really super helpful. But at the end of the day, like I've dealt with enough people trolling me in my chat. I think anybody who streams on Twitch has had that moment of like, oh, a person. I think I go the same exact strategy. Kill them with kindness, kind of try to brush past it, be witty if you can, but don't give them an inch, and
right.
Continue for the cause.
Absolutely true. I find them pretty easy to deal with because honestly, a lot of people who come in trolling or angry have something going on, and if you have a chance to talk to them individually, that's great. But if it's like a large-scale hate raid, that's where the robust moderation presence comes in. We have more mods this year than I've ever seen in one place at any time. I did the same thing for my little fundraiser earlier this year, and it's a huge weight off your back to have that many people looking out for you and ready to press buttons as soon as something goes wrong. Like, our mods have got us. I trust them.
Yep, I do too.
Nisk Patter in the chat specifically, he's making a joke about having an itchy trigger finger, but Nisk has caught so many trolls in my chat before I have even noticed that they're there. That man is a legend at moderation. He was modded in too many chats for a second there because he's so good at it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing to keep in mind is that a lot of times, especially if you're in chat and you see something like that, some streamers are better about pushing that stuff off than others. And so if you realize what's happening and obviously the mod team is handling it, say a kind word, just interact with the streamer in a normal way, ask him something about the game or something that's going on. And you don't know sometimes how much they might need that to help kind of stay focused when stuff's going wrong, because let's be real here, we're a community, and that's what we want to be building and helping each other like a community does.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important also to recognize that like that's a jarring thing to happen, like anytime you get trolled, but also anything large scale. I think it's also totally fine to say, like, if you don't have the spoons or the bandwidth or the capacity or whatever to be witty about it, or happy-go-lucky or whatever, take a breath, pause, throw up the be right back screen.
Yeah, no shame in that.
Absolutely
not. Again, advocate for your self-care. Do what you need to do, because none of our mental health is not precious. So that was a real weird way to say that. All of our mental health is precious.
Yep. Okay, so we've got a few more questions and then we'll wrap up. Favorite cereal? Goop?
Ooh, I'll take it in a sad direction. My favorite cereal historically is Frosted Mini Wheats, but when I was in sixth grade, I was diagnosed with celiac, so I can't eat wheat anymore. So now I'll roll on some Honey Nut Cheerios, which are now gluten-free.
Well, hey, bud, I kind of feel you because I became lactose intolerant 2 years ago.
Oh, no.
No cereal for Zambi.
I feel
I'm starting to get into like oat milk though, and I've always had a soft spot for Frosted Flakes. I don't know what it is. They're so good. They're just corn with sugar, but man.
I feel that good. Though. I figured out accidentally at first in middle school that I was becoming lactose intolerant, and then I started using it to get out of school, which kids don't do that. It's not worth it. Your stomach will still hate you.
It.
But yeah, so
you'll be
with
at home,
that
but
said,
at what cost?
Yeah, I don't eat a lot of cereal, so I guess I will have to go with the fact I recently got put on the back of a cereal box, which was a wild thing to happen.
Wait, what?
So So one of the things that I do in my free time, since I'm no longer stream nearly as much, but I coach a sled hockey team. So think Paralympic hockey. So
Okay.
people who have some sort of physical disability that don't allow them to play stand-up hockey. And so our team was featured on the back of a cereal box of the store brand Frosted Mini Wheats here in Western Michigan. So I will have to say
cool.
that one specifically because
That's awesome.
yeah, myself and my players are on there, which is pretty neat.
That is a more than serviceable answer. That's awesome.
It's weirdly full circle that one of the Microsoft Paint emotes that Spartan has made was a cereal box emote making fun of my gluten intolerance. So, and then one of our viewers made a real life physical copy of it. So if you're in my stream during the charity event, ask me about it and I'll show it to you.
Okay. So Spartan asked us, okay, what's your favorite video game soundtrack? So you've heard our second favorite.
Yeah, you really got me with that one.
The one that comes to mind is probably Undertale or Bully. I like both of those soundtracks a lot. I actually listen to that music on Spotify all the time. So I'm going to say Undertale just because it's all different. Like, there's so many tracks that sound different, whereas Bully uses a lot of the same motifs. So that's my answer.
Yeah,
I don't know
gotta
if
go with...
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I got to go with Life Slide. Which is it's a game about being a paper airplane, and playing that game is just like therapy. And the soundtrack is on Spotify, so like when I'm having a rough day, that's the one that I crank.
I don't know if it's favorite for a good reason here, but I am deep in my Baldur's Gate 3 phase. Down by the River's in my head when I go to bed, and it's in my head when I wake up. Let's go.
I cannot wait to finally try that.
Love
game
that,
out.
yeah.
Oh, good.
And mine would have to be it is the only game that I have the soundtrack for on vinyl. Thank you, Nisk Patter, for getting me addicted to that. And it is Celeste.
There you go.
You know, the work that Lena Raine did with Maddie Thorson is just absolutely incredible. And I have put more hours of that game into most things. And that is a soundtrack that never, eats away at me. If anything, like, I will throw it on while I'm working, and that will be the most productive few hours I ever have. Just something snaps in me, and I'm just going.
All right, last two, and then we'll get out of here. This one is from Boom Boom. Are most of the games you are playing one player, or are there opportunities for others to join, like Among Us or any other multiplayer games? I know that Hoser is going to be doing Fall Guys, and people will be able to join that. And then 5church's second segment is going to be specifically community games as well. So there will be opportunities for people to get involved in the games. I don't know if anybody in here is going to be doing anything specifically to where viewers can join. But I do know that those ones are for sure going to be available to viewer participation. And the last question. What is your go-to snack?
Easy. It's Lay's Stacks Salt and Vinegar
Let's
Chips.
go. That's a great answer.
I can put away a tube of those in less than a minute flat, I swear. When I was in college, they were $1 at the Walmart, and so I ate so many of them. And when I was done with them, I would just throw the tube like under my bed. And then at the end of the year, we pulled all of them out and built a tower that like made it to the ceiling.
What?
It was wild.
That's incredible. Oh, I love it. Spartan, what's a favorite snack?
I'm just gonna say y'all are weird at Central.
Okay. I collect tubes. You light couches on fire. Leave me alone.
Oh.
Yeah, obviously one of us is more cultured. I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't blame me for that in all caps.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't snack a lot, mostly because I used to move around a lot, being a teacher, like walking around a lot. And I now sit at a desk most of the day, so I really try not to snack a bunch. But if there is something that, if it is ever put in front of me, I will start eating and not stop. That is 100% Smarties.
Okay.
I keep a secret stash of them in my car, and occasionally, just sometimes when I need to pick me up, I will, whip open that little compartment, take them out, shoot them down, and continue on in my day. And that little sugar high gets me going.
Yeah. Zambi, do you have a favorite snack?
So here's my just turned 30 and I need to be healthier opinion. Here's what you're gonna do. You get one of them real long cucumbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You slice it up real thin like it's a potato chip. And then you sprinkle some like spicy seasoned salt, some like Slap Your Mama or Tony Chachere's, and you just eat them like chips. And your brain's like, yum, yum, potato chip. But your body's like, healthy vegetable. It works every time. It's really great. Highly recommend
it.
Tony C's rocks.
It's so good. You don't even need that much of it. It's just like, wow.
Right?
Oh.
So my favorite snack recently has been the Nerds Chewy clusters that you can get at like the movie theater or like the candy aisle at like Walmart. I just randomly saw them and I was like, let me get this and try it. And I was like, oh, this is good. I work in a warehouse and I'm on my feet all day packing boxes. So like I have those there just like whenever I need like a quick snack because they can sit there for like weeks and not go bad. Like they're in a little Ziploc bag. I love it. It's good. The pink or the blue bag, either. The pink bag is the one that typically is in the store, but the blue bag is also really good.
Yeah. So fun fact, Jittery, the company I work for is Ferrara Candy, who make Nerds gummy clusters.
Yeah.
Yeah. All I'm gonna say is, I'll throw this out there. If we get anyone who drops, I'll just say this: if we hit my donation goal, I will mail personally an off-the-shelf case of these to Jittery. So all I'm saying is, y'all better show up for your friend over here so that they can get some very nice and fresh Nerds gummy clusters.
What a
Jittery deserves it.
That's pretty cool. Chat, help me achieve my dream of getting off-the-shelf Nerd gummy clusters. That's awesome. Okay, fellas, I think that's everything I have for today. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all so much. I look forward to seeing all of you on October 13th through the 15th for ASAN 2023. Thank you, Goop. Thank you, Spartan. And thank you, Zambi, for being here. Any last words from all of you?
Thank you for running this and 5church for putting the whole event together. It's been a blast working with you guys, and I'm looking forward to doing it again next year, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see you in October.
Yeah, thank you for all that you guys do. Really appreciate it. And thank you to everyone in chat, and hope to see you there.
Yeah,
all right,
y'all.
guys. Thank you all so much.